South Africa is not an African country. Oh, I know you're going to say, it's located in Africa. And what I mean it is not a black country. Oh, you said, but they have a black parliament and everything. They're run by black people now. It is not a black country. 90% of the wealth still remains in white hands. It is a white country. It's a white country. It's a white country. And they're not leaving. They're not going anywhere. They claim that it is their land, their country. They were born there. They're owed all of the lands and riches that they've accumulated or built or whatever they want to say, although they, of course, beat Africans to death to accumulate the wealth and to build whatever they didn't actually get down on their hands and knees and create anything, and most of their largest trade is based on a very good marketing ploy by Europeans, and yes, I mean diamonds. So it is with great pleasure that I come to you and say Nigeria, a truly black African nation in Africa, run by black people, overseen by black people, worked by black people, has now overtaken South Africa's economy. So we have something that seems on its face to be completely corrupt. Oh, it must be crazy. So on April 5th, which was a Saturday, South Africa was Africa's largest economy. The IMF put its GDP at $354 billion last year, so 2013, well ahead of its closest rival for the crown, Nigeria. By Sunday afternoon, that had changed. Nigerian statistician-general announced that his country's GDP from 2013 had been revised from 42.4 trillion naira to 80.2 trillion naira, which comes out to $509 billion. The estimate income of the average Nigerian went from less than $1,500 a year to $2,688 in a trice. How can an economy grow by almost 90% overnight? Nigeria has a deserved reputation for corruption, so a skeptic might think the doubling of its economy a result of fiddling the numbers. In fact, it is the old numbers that are dodgy. An economy's real growth rate is typically measured by reference to prices in a base year. In Nigeria, the reference year for the oldest estimated GDP was in 1990. The IMF recommends that base years be updated at least every 5 years. Nigeria left it far too long. As a result, its old GDP figures were hopelessly inaccurate. The new figures used 2010 as the base year. Why was the upgrade so big? To come up with an estimate of GDP, statisticians need to add together estimates of output from a sample of businesses in every part of the economy, from farming to service industries. The weight they give to each sector depends on its importance to the economy in the base year. A snapshot of Nigeria's economy in 1990 gave little or no weight to fast-growing parts of the economy such as mobile telephony or movie industry. At the time, the state-owned telephone company had a few 100,000 customers. Today, the country has 120 million mobile phone subscriptions. On the old 1990 figures, the telecom sector was less than 1% of GDP. It is now almost 9% of GDP. Motion pictures had not shown up at all in the old figures, but the industry size is now put at 1.4% of GDP. Nigeria's number crunchers have improved the gathering of statistics in other ways. The old GDP figures were based on an estimate of output. The new figures are cross-checked against separate surveys of spending and income. The sample on which the data are based has increased from around 85,000 establishments to 850,000. Only businesses with a fixed location are included. The traders who weave precarious between the traffic are not captured. Even so, many small businesses are now part of the GDP picture. Of course, Nigerians are no richer than they were that Saturday. The majority of the country's 170 million people live on less than $1 a day. What the revised GDP figures show is that its economy is far more than just an oil enclave exporting crude to pay for imported goods from richer countries. The oil industry's share of GDP is now put at just 14% compared with 33% according to the old figures. Manufacturing is much larger than previously thought. Services are booming. It is still a tough place in which to do business, but any company or investor who wants exposure to Africa's fast-growing markets cannot afford to pass the continent's largest economy by. Even this report from The Economist is really bad. And of course, then I'm going to say that the statisticians in Nigeria are also bad. And yes, they are bad. They're not even taking into account how large Nollywood is, and that's what it's called, Nollywood, Nigerian Hollywood. They're not even taking into account all of the technology. They're not taking into account all of the trade. They're not taking into account any of the internet businesses that are there around. Now, can you imagine the United States not take into account any internet businesses? That means that they would discount Google, Apple, Microsoft. I mean, all of those people would not be discounted. And that is what Nigeria is doing. Now, do I know if there's a Google in Nigeria? I do not know. There could be. There could be something as big as Google in Nigeria. I don't know, and neither do their statisticians. Now, they are questioning and bashing Nigeria, saying that the figures that they even used are wrong, and that the country is not double the economy that they thought it was just at the beginning of the year. And of course, South Africa is the one fighting the most because, as I said, they are not a black country. The European countries accept South Africa as a part of the fold. South Africa is a part of the BRICS country. That is Brazil, Russia, China, India. So they are looked upon as being one of the worldwide economies. They can't have a black country. Now, Nigeria is actually part of the BRICS. They cannot have a totally black country be a larger economy than an actual white country. And as much as you think South Africa is a black country and a black economy, it isn't. It's a white country. When you hold 90% of the wealth in white hands, I don't care who's sitting in the White House. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say the White House, right? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see my sarcasm? It doesn't matter that a black man sits in a White House. This is a white economy. It doesn't matter who's in parliament in South Africa. It's a white economy. And I have taken a look at South Africa, and it's just as much apartheid today as it was before. If they wanted to take over, they should have kicked out every single white person out of there at the time. It's only black people that don't revolt and slaughter everybody who's the enemy. That's not done. Oh yes, it's done in Europe. Huh? You slaughter everybody in the entire village. That's exactly what happened in Europe over and over and over and over. It's going on right now. It's called the Ukraine. They have slaughtered whole villages and towns today in the Ukraine. It's only black people who go, okay, we're friends now? Okay. Oh, you're a good Negro. Oh, thank you. I'm in charge now? Yeah. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You're in charge, black man. It's your country. Now, they don't take into account any of the other black countries as well. Kenya, not even mentioned. Ghana, not even mentioned. They have downplayed all of these places that are peaceful, that have a real robust and growing economy. Kenya is launching a new Silicon Valley. They are taking over an entire city and making it a Silicon Valley. And they are welcoming and inviting every technical person in the world. Every super brain, is going to go there. They've already started building it. Not even mentioned. Nobody ever talks about it. It's already been going on. Of course, Kenya mentions it. If you happen to read the Kenya news, you might catch it, but nobody else talks about it. And there you have it. I mean, that's a bit of African news for you. I know a lot of people are going to sit in ignorance, not know anything about Africa, and try and debate me and say that I'm wrong somehow. They haven't done any research. They've never lived in Africa. I have, in several countries. I actually speak a few African languages, a little bit of a few African languages, and I knew about South Africa before America even mentioned it at all. The word apartheid was foreign to the United States. I already knew about it. I knew the entire system. We couldn't go to South Africa because we would have to be categorized as white. And you cannot have a blue-black kid being categorized as white and sitting in first class and sitting in a mansion. The white people would have lost their mind. So the United States Department of State said we could not go there. This wasn't when I was a kid. So I'm very well aware of everything going on in Africa. And I also know that the CIA and the IMF is the cause of 99% of the strife and the warfare. You even have people who have gone to their presidents and say, okay, let's have a peace talk. And the CIA comes behind their back and gets a new warlord. Oh, that warlord's going to make peace with the president of the country and start dividing up the land and making negotiations. Oh, he's doing that. Let me create a brand new warlord and pay him millions of dollars to create another war for nothing. Oh, you have arable land in Nigeria? Let me go ahead and buy that land, kick out the villagers who have lived there for thousands of years, and that is their natural land, as in their tribe has lived there for thousands of years, and really it has nothing to do with being quote-unquote Nigerian, which is a fantasy to begin with. The tribe is real. Those people are connected by blood and have worked that land for thousands of years. The whole idea of a national border is a fantasy. It's something made up. Tribe, not made up. Nation, made up. Now the libertarians are gonna agree with me, of course, and all of the non-libertarians are gonna go, what are you talking about? The United States has borders. It is a fantasy made up by man, that there is some sort of invisible line that surrounds the country and it's an impenetrable fortress. Now, of course, we know that is not true because we have children crossing our border. I'm sorry, they're not actually children. They're actually 30-year-old gangsters with tattoos from head to toe. But the liberals want us to believe that they're children. So I'll go along with that fantasy. So children are permeating our border as if it were thin air. Oh, wait, it is thin air. Anyway, that's my report on Nigeria and Africa. Thank you for watching Shakaama Live Show.